Alright, so I got a 2017 Honda Odyssey, and what I'm doing today is replacing the torque converter on this. This thing has 116,000 kilometers, so I think roughly around 70,000 miles for you guys in the US. So this thing's got an extended warranty on the torque converter due to the crack on the piston of the lockup clutch in the torque converter or something like that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing today. You know what warranty pays for this thing? 5.6 hours on the Odyssey. Oh no, 5.7 hours on the Odyssey. And so far, what I've done is, free up some space around this area. I've also removed the steering shaft on the inside of the car, so I did that too. Now I can start disconnecting all the connectors because the harness is going to go with the engine. So as you can see, you see all these connectors, well, the solenoids and everything, and then this harness goes to the battery, so that stays. This is for the starter, but there's this other harness that goes along the back and up to the valve cover in the back. So I gotta disconnect every connector off this harness and then flop it over, and then you also got the shifter cable that you gotta take out, and then transmission cooler lines. I think with this one, it's not like the newer Odyssey where you can what I do is just drop the engine and transmission and everything. But yeah, there's it's gonna do this differently. I might have to hang this, so that's how I'm gonna do it. But yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna keep on keeping on and get rid of some of the stuff. Oh yeah, there's also the transmission cooler lines, and there's the filter for this transmission. So if you want to change your transmission filter, it's right there. But yeah. Okay, so I removed everything I need to from up here. Also removed that oil cap because this support here will lean right up against that oil cap, and they'll break it, right? So if you notice that your oil cap's broken on your Honda V6, that's just because someone didn't remove it when they were trying to support the engine with this here. So yeah, you got to remove the cowl and everything so the tool can sit into the strut mounts, I guess. And yeah, now we can start removing the suspension. So this job, like I said, it pays 5.7 warranty time. But if you look at labor time for this job to remove the transmission, it's actually 8 hours plus 0.2 to remove the torque converter, and any additional labor time on top of that if you're replacing the rear main seal, transmission seal, stuff like that. So just wanted to let you know what the difference in time is from warranty and actual labor time for this job. We're underneath the car. So far what I've done is remove the exhaust, remove the torque converter bolts, disconnect the transmission lines, power steering line, because that power steering line runs along the subframe here. Also disconnect the lower ball joint, disconnect the tie rod, disconnect the sway bar link. We had to swap over the transmission jack because our apprentice is actually putting a transmission back into that S2000, so I needed that tranny jack, so he swapped out that tranny jack so I can use that. So that took a little bit of time. But other than that, I removed the 4 bolts for the rear mount. So once I drop the subframe, this thing can stay, and then the steering rack comes with the subframe. This one, I just got to remove the 1 bolt on the front, so the engine mount comes out. And what else do I got to do? Oh yeah, I got to remove the power steering pressure line, which is that guy right there that runs all the way to the top and then into the power steering pump. So I have to remove that too. But when I remove the subframe, I can just pop these CV axles out, right? Because once I pop that CV axle out, there's one bell housing bolt that's like right behind this bracket for the engine mount. Yeah, so we're getting pretty close, and then we just got to remove this engine mount over here or not engine mount, transmission mount that's on this side. So yeah, I mean, just to show you what kind of what do you have to do to remove this transmission. So yeah, 5.7. It's not a great paying job, but it could be better. So yeah. I got the subframe out on the subframe jack. I got this thing supported. I got one drive shaft out on this side, but right now I'm fighting with this guy. Usually you can just put like a punch and then you can punch this part of the half shaft off, but this one has a sleeve that goes into this bracket. So I've been tapping it back and forth trying to free this thing up because it's you know, corroded inside that sleeve and it's preventing it from coming out with the whole shaft. And they couldn't make the bracket where this bolt is slightly higher above the drive shaft to remove, so I could just unbolt the bracket to get the whole drive shaft out. So I have to remove this drive shaft out before getting that one bolt behind the drive shaft. Alright, so I finally got that drive shaft out, and this is why. I'll show you. All this corrosion in there is preventing that drive shaft from coming out. So we're gonna have to clean all this corrosion off before putting the drive shaft back in. Same thing over here. See all the corrosion. So yeah, you can't just tap this part off. It comes out with the whole drive shaft. And they put this bolt right behind that drive shaft. Alright, so I've got the tranny out. Alright, old torque converter is right here. Here's the bulletin torque converter. It comes with new exhaust gaskets, new exhaust nuts, crush washer, and then down here you got the torque converter. So now I'm just gonna try and get this new torque converter into the splines and the input shaft of the transmission. Okay, so I got a side-by-side comparison. That's the new one and that's the old one. Look at the difference in color, right? Because on the bulletin, it's due to the lockup clutch piston cracking, and I wonder if it's cracking because of the heat. So look at the difference in color. So yeah. So before you put the transmission in, make sure your torque converter is all the way in. So usually if it sticks out a little bit out of the transmission, it's not all the way in. But as you can see, there's a little gap here. And if you look at the flex plate, that's the same amount of distance it reaches out to, you know, so you can bolt your torque converter in. So that's how I tell that it's all the way in. So once you got your some of your bolts in, or you got your dowels all lined up, before tightening all your bolts, make sure you can move your torque converter before you completely tighten it, so you don't break anything. So my torque converter moves freely once it's all bolted down, so I'm good. So that torque converter is actually in all the way. Well, transmission and subframe is back in. So the apprentice came over, and he took the transmission jack and the subframe jack. That way he can finish his transmission on his S2000. So yeah, anyways, it's the end of the day and I'm gonna go home. So it is the next morning. I just basically started right when I got into work, but we're getting close. I put the cowl and everything back on. I left the nuts so in case I need to adjust the wiper blades or wiper arms, but all I'm left with is a air box and the fuse box and stuff, so we're almost there. Yeah, also I filled up the transmission fluid because it's easier now than when I put everything back together. So yeah, so next time you see this, it's gonna be this is gonna be running. So everything's all back together. I did started it up. It started up and then it died because now the check engine light is on, and that's because I forgot to plug in the mass airflow sensor. So it started up and then stalled. It also has a TPMS light and a blind spot monitor light, but those were on prior to coming in. So yeah, other than that, I'm just gonna clear the code that I created because I forgot to plug it in. Plug in the mass airflow sensor. So I thought, you know, I'll share this all with you. So 8 hours is more realistic to do this job because I started around lunch. Around lunchtime would be around 12:30. I got off work around 4:30. Right, came in this morning, started the job back at 8, and it's about 10 o'clock right now. 10:30 on my scanner. So realistically, 8 hours for re-engineering a transmission and then any additional torque converter. Plus, I think I have to go and do an alignment. I gotta go test drive it and see. So yeah, just to show you what warranty pays for extended warranty jobs like a torque converter. is. But doing a so anyways, on to the next one. I mean, the next job is going to be it's another big job, I guess. Timing change guide, VTC actuators. What else? Yeah. So I don't know if I'm gonna make a video on it. I think I already did a video on timing chains on well, I think I did a piston or short block, because it was piston rings and I did all that anyways. But yeah, so I already have that. What did I go back? I think I clicked the wrong one on the scanner. I did a system scan, but I needed the health report so I can clear the codes. So I got to redo that again. But anyways, hope you liked the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. But somebody's gonna ask. I don't know. I can't remember if I mentioned this in the video, but this thing has 116,000 kilometers, so around 75,000 miles. So somebody will ask. But yeah, anyway, see you next one if I do.